This is just going to be a close-up of my head talking about the transfer business activity for each of the Premier League clubs and then giving it a grade from A to F, which is content people requested. We're going to do this in alphabetical order. So, Arsenal. Big signings this season are obviously Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Jurrien Timber, and David Raya from Brentford on loan, because they loaned a goalkeeper, which is like super fucking weird. That sort of came out of left field. Because, I mean, I don't know. We did say about Ramsdale maybe being a bit flaky, and people, I don't know, maybe Arteta thinks there's a little bit of that, but we'll get it. And certainly it looks like it is going to go ahead and will be a permanent signing. I think they've agreed a fee of 30 million. It's just that, obviously, for financial fair play, they don't want to tack it onto this season when they can get him on a loan and do it that way. So anyway, let's just start then. Declan Rice. Look, you know I think he's a fraud. I've said it again. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe he's going to be a world beater. They needed a player like Declan Rice, though, Arsenal. They really, really did. A defensive midfielder who doesn't shy away from the dirty work. Obviously, they seem to have a few system issues. Arteta did something very weird against Forest where it was like Partey played it like right back and they were trying to make Partey and Rice work with Partey doing what Zinchenko used to do on the left, of stepping up into midfield and Arsenal moving into a back three, and it was all a bit of a mess. It didn't look great, but that's not going to be the system moving forward, I don't think. So I think Declan Rice, they got their man. They pursued him for a long time. This was like the fourth bid, where they got up to 105 and they got him. For me, I thought the best bit of business they did was Jurrien Timber. I know this is like, oh, Richard, you're such a contrarian. I think Jurrien Timber, like, coming from Ajax, like it was like 35 mil or something. He is an exciting young player, and I am devastated he's done his ACL in his debut. I think he would have been so fucking good for Arsenal. And you have to wonder if Arteta's cursed a little bit, because I think he would have been like transformative. And at 22, he's going to play for Arsenal for a long time. Now he's coming back from an ACL. You just never know. But he was huge in pre-season. He's young enough to bounce back. I've got to believe he will. I think that is stellar business. Kai Havertz, I don't know, like, everybody was calling me a fat cunt, I believe was the phrase. A fat cunt, a thick cunt, a fat, thick cunt, thick with a K, not with 3 C's as well. Very hurtful, questioning my intelligence. Because I said I just don't get the fuss about Kai Havertz going to Arsenal. I just don't get it. Faramir, one of the regulars on the Rich Cord, was saying he's like generational talent in Germany. And I don't know, maybe Chelsea squandered him, but I don't know. I don't think Havertz is as good as people think he is. And you've paid 65 mil. I know he's going to play as an 8. I never said he was going to play as a striker. I think the problem is because he's been used as a striker, and Arteta himself said it. So you call me a thick cunt, a fat cunt. Arteta, go call him a thick cunt. He literally said in an interview about Havertz, he said he can play anywhere. We can use him up front, we can use him wide, we can use him in the centre of the park. He said that, the manager. So I don't know where you're going to see him, but don't play him as a striker ever. 8 is clearly his best position. I know he likes to drift wide sometimes. I don't think he's very effective from there. I'm just saying, there's got to be better midfield options out there. There has to be. So, look, on top of that, they lost Xhaka. Xhaka is a one-of-a-kind player. 15 mil to Leverkusen. Matt Turner going to Forest, so they lose a bit of that, like, goalkeeper coverage, but then they bring in Raya, so it's okay. But now Raya is kind of like good enough to be in the starting lineup. We don't know what's going on with Ramsdale. That's like a little bit of uncertainty for me. It's great to have a solid backup, but Raya plays a very different style to Ramsdale. I'd say Raya is probably better at distribution. Ramsdale is more of a raw athlete, it feels like, in the nets, and a bit more unrefined. Very strange. Losing Xhaka is kind of big, but you got Rice. So, I don't know. I think overall, they come into this season stronger than last season, wiser than last season. If the Timber injury hadn't happened, I could see myself giving this an A-. As it stands, and it's not their fault, you know, it's just like, as it's going to pan out for their season, Jurrien Timber, for me, was the signing that really impressed me, validated by preseason performance. But I'm probably going to give Arsenal a B. So B for Arsenal, yeah? Villa, Aston Villa. This is going to be interesting. Diaby obviously scored on his debut. Was a lot of money from Leverkusen. It's their big signing. I think it's good. I like him in that sense. I think they needed a creative wide player as well, Villa. You know, something to just lighten the load. You think about as well, they brought Tielemans in on a free. That's mega business. You know, I know obviously it's technically like, you know, sort of was done before, but Tielemans looks really good. Torres, they brought in at centre-back from Villarreal. Emery is a big fan of his, knows him very well. And they also had Zaniolo, who's a midfielder they brought in from Galatasaray on loan, but it was a loan with a fee. Now, look, Tielemans and Diaby are fucking solid pickups. I think Tielemans is going to be transformative for them. You know, he's going to get more time now, obviously, as well, with injuries and the way the squad's been shaping up. I got him in my fantasy team. I think he's going to be great. Diaby, obviously, is already off to a good start, even though they lost that game 5-1 where he scored. They're good signings. They're solid signings for me. Torres, I got question marks. The Prem is so brutal for centre-backs. You have to know what you're doing. The press these days is lethal. If you are a slow, ponderous centre-back, you're going to get caught. If you're a centre-back that can't distribute the ball, you're going to get caught. If you aren't strong, you're going to get brushed off the ball. If you aren't quick, you're going to get mullered for pace. Centre-backs these days, like, the evolution of the centre-back role is probably the position in Premier League football that has had to do the most levelling up through the years, I think. More than strikers, more than midfielders, more than goalkeepers, you know? The centre-back went from being a big, strong lad, a donkey, that, you know, as long as he could, you know, he could drink 10 pints on a Friday, turn up on a Saturday, kick the shit out of someone. You know, you don't even get the protection from the refs anymore. You can't touch players anymore. You have to be so precise in everything you do as a centre-back. So I feel only the best of the best centre-backs can play in the modern era of the Prem. And I don't know if Torres is it. We'll wait and see. Overall, though, I think I liked Villa's transfer activity. I think they've signed good players. They've added quality. They've got a decent foundation there. They didn't go crazy on the spending. You know, I think in total, it's like they spent 80 mil, you know, which, yeah, okay, Villa are actually above City for net spend over the last, like, 5 years, which is crazy to think about, for so little success. But I think Emery is going to bring them good cup runs. They're going to look better. I could be wrong about where they're going to finish in the league. So, yeah, B. It's a B. Aston Villa get a B. Bournemouth. Here's the surprise. I know you're going to say, Richard, what are you talking about? Bournemouth spent money. Bournemouth spent money, and Bournemouth made some very savvy signings for me. If you go back and listen to the Prem Review videos, I pointed out about Justin Kluivert, who they signed from Roma. Now, Justin Kluivert's been on loan. I think he's played in Serie A, La Liga, and was it Bundesliga or the Eredivisie? But anyway, one of those two. He's already played in some like elite level leagues. It is, you know, Patrick Kluivert's son. He's 24. I think he is actually an exciting prospect. I do feel he will surprise a few people, and I've had a look at him, watched some of his footage, watched some of the tape on him. I want him to succeed. Obviously, I loved Patrick Kluivert as a player. Love that Ajax team that Patrick Kluivert played in. It's one of my favourite teams of all time. The one that won the European Cup. And so, you know, I'm backing him. I think at 11 mil, that's a great signing. For real. I think, like, Tyler Adams from Leeds for, like, 22 mil is fucking crazy good. I think Tyler Adams was so good at Leeds, did not deserve to be in a relegated team. Tyler Adams is going to come in and fucking boss it for Bournemouth. Sick player. I think as well, some of the other signings they brought in, they're going young. They brought in a fullback called Milos Kerkez from AZ Alkmaar. That was like another 14 mil. He could be like a little, surprise pickup. But yeah, they've brought in a lot of fucking, exciting young prospects. They also got, it was Radu, the understudy goalkeeper from Inter. I think he came in for the season loan, so they got some solid coverage there. Max Aarons, he's like obviously come from Norwich. So yeah, I mean, look, they've really fleshed out their squad, and they've got pace in the side now. They've got Tyler Adams, a midfield general, great on and off the ball, fully committed. This is why I rate Bournemouth pretty high. Now, none of these names are going to set the world on fire, but guys, it's fucking Bournemouth. I think they've done great business relative to where they are. I'm gonna give this B+. I'm very happy for Bournemouth with these signings. Also, got to be said as well, sorry, just while we're still on Bournemouth, actually, they cut their wage bill massively. They let a lot of shite go, players that you wouldn't particularly care about. They did have a lot of frees and loans and whatnot going out as well. But yeah, B+ for me. Brentford. They were in a bit of a, weird one because it's like, they've already got like a solid squad. They had a pretty underwhelming transfer window, but maybe you would expect that. Maybe they didn't need to make a lot of signings. It turns out as it happens, they didn't make a lot of signings. The big one, the marquee signing, if you want to call it that, is Nathan Collins from Wolves, obviously the defender, the centre-back. Good young prospect, really solid at Wolves. It's another loss for Wolves. I don't know what Wolves are thinking, but, 24, 25 mil, I think. Decent, happy with that. They signed 2 players from Freiburg, Kevin Schade and the Dutch, I think it was, goalkeeper Flecken. Again, I think they spent about 35 on the pair. Okay, but not very exciting. No real standouts. I'm going to give this a C-. Collins sort of elevates it. But, did Brentford need to make signings? Maybe not, but it just wasn't particularly exciting. So, C- for Brentford. Brighton. As I said, whenever they sign a player, I sit up and pay attention because they know what they're doing. So, last season, I already talked about James Milner coming in at 37, old man Milner. I remember watching James Milner make his debut, so that's how fucking old I am, when he became the youngest, when he was the youngest player to score in the Prem. Like, I think he did it inside of 3 or 4 games or something. But anyway, I remember James Milner making his debut, so it's crazy to see him as old man Milner now, because I remember him as the spotty kid that, came on for Leeds. But anyway, James Milner is going to be a manager probably inside of like less than 8 years. He got a yen for coaching, loves training, takes care of himself, loves the sport, real level head on his shoulder, never gets himself in any bullshit. He's a great club man to have, and Brighton are going to benefit from just having him in the squad. He can still play in the Prem at 37. I think it was totally cool of Liverpool to just sort of be like, yeah, on you go. It's a good deal for everybody. And I think low-key, having such a versatile player and give the dressing room a boost and perk up some of these youngsters. It's really savvy, really intelligent signing. Their big signing was João Pedro from Watford. Does have Premier League experience, although didn't do particularly great with Watford when they were in the Prem. They signed him for like 30 mil. He's only 21, Brazilian. Scored a pen already. Still doesn't look to be the end product for me. Still looks to be a little bit like, rough around the edges, a bit raw. Needs to be more direct with what he's doing. He has a tendency to like try and, he doesn't want to run at a defender. He wants to try and like get around the defender. And, you're gonna have to get past that. That schoolboy bullshit's not going to fly in the Prem. So I'm watching him. I don't think he's going to score a ton of goals, but I think in a Brighton side that is full of pace and fantastic passing and, just like, people like Mitoma in midfield and stuff like that. I don't think he needs to get 30, 40 goals for them by any stretch. I think there's just goals across all of the Brighton squad. They signed a keeper from Anderlecht for Bruggen, 20 years old. Great young keeper. Igor from Fiorentina, you might have seen him play. He did make a bunch of appearances for Fiorentina. He's a starting Serie A centre-back whose career kind of did stall a little bit. But when he was young and playing for like the Brazilian under-20s, he was like highly touted. He's like an old-school Brazilian defender, like a one-on-one. He'll win the ball or bring down the man. That's how they do it in Brazil, in the Brazilian league. It's like, you can get past me, but if you go past me, I'm just scything you down. And he's like that. He's strong, big physical presence. I'm hoping that De Zerbi can develop him, because it's interesting to see this resurgence of like Brazilian centre-backs, coming into the European game. And the one I already talked about as well, Mazel Tov, the young winger from Romania that they signed for next to nothing, like £3 million. I think there's a deal where he might be getting loaned back. I don't know if that's actually still going ahead. I think I read something about that. But again, he's like sort of highly talked about. It's like, wow, like, a really, really like good Romanian youngster that could be like one of their best prospects in a long time. So, you know what? Brighton and Hove Albion, who the fuck am I to judge them? On top of that, they've had a ton of people go out on loans as well. Tons of people that they're sort of continuing to develop, all the young 20-somethings. They've got such a young squad overall, and they're continuing to add to it. I just love this club. I'm going to give them a B. Burnley, my shock prediction to finish 13th. Their signings, here we go. Like, I'm going to just read off some names. And you're going to be like, who, and who. So they did spend money. They went back to City and they got that young goalkeeper, James Trafford. Obviously, Company has signed a few City youngsters since taking over at Burnley. He's always going to have good relations with that club, and he knows a thing or two about the people behind the scene. By all accounts, James Trafford is like going to be a mega talent. So they did that. Amdouni from Ball, 15 mil, centre forward, 22 Swiss. Jordan Bayer from Mönchengladbach, decent. Again, young, 23, defender, solid. They got the Obafemi, because I remember Obafemi Martins, but it's Michael Obafemi from Swansea. By the way, low key, like, actually, I've got some Swansea fans, being Welsh and all that. People are like, listen, he's like, watch this guy. He'll play his way into the team. I don't know if that's some like Welsh copium or whatever. They all like to see the lads do good when they leave the club. But, you look at the names that, again, it's an archetype. They're all young. You don't really know them, but they're all decent prospects. I'm going to have to give it a C just on the face of it. But as I said, I think when you get to the end of the season, I'll be happy for this to be wrong. I think some of these names will really surprise some people. Chelsea. Oh, my God. Chelsea. So, Chelsea just buy everyone. It's actually a joke. And so, I've already talked about some of these signings. So, Nkunku is going to be great. Nkunku's going to be one of the signings of the season. Like, when he's fit again, he got injured in pre-season, he's going to be their starting striker and everything's going to go through him. He's 25. He's from Leipzig. Says it all. I think he had something insane, like, I don't know, it was like 100 games, like Leipzig. I can't remember the exact number, but I did have the exact number in the Prem review. But it was like in 100 games, he had someone like, I don't know, like 60 goals and fucking 40-something assists. The guy produces, and he'll do that in the Prem. Disasi from Monaco scored on his debut. I talk about this in the latest Prem review. William Gallas lit him up in the press saying he's not good enough for the Prem because all he has is strength. And, I think, like, okay, if you've got strength and you've got pace, we're already cooking in the Prem. Like, we're already doing okay. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel it was a bad signing at all. I don't know why William Gallas singled him out and decided to attack him. Seemed really fucking weird. Nicholas Jackson from Villarreal was a bit fucking weird for me because people probably don't know this, but he was meant to go to Bournemouth. He's 22, young player. Looks exciting, but he was meant to go to Bournemouth, and he failed the medical because his hamstring was fucked or something. And so he's like starting for Chelsea, and people are like putting a lot of stock on him and saying he's going to be great. And I don't know, like I think to go from being Bournemouth have their eye on him, not many other people do. Hamstring problems already at 22, and then suddenly you're Chelsea's great hope for the league. I don't know, like I'm not vibing with that. I watched him today. He seemed decent, I'm not gonna be a hater for no reason, but Chelsea are all over the place right now. So I mean, like make of that what you will. Lavia, I don't know why they needed to sign Lavia. I don't understand it. 55 mil for Lavia is fine. I think he is a fantastic prospect, Belgian. He's a good footballer, but they signed him and Caicedo. Caicedo's 115 mil. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get it. I don't get why you need both. They also signed that Ugachukwu, who's also like a defensive midfielder. He played today. It's like, so in their transfer window, right? Keep in mind, the problem Chelsea had was scoring goals last season. They had tons of possession, tons of chances, and then in the transfer window, they've only signed one out-and-out centre forward and 3 defensive midfielders. Like, this club's a fucking mess, guys. I don't know, like, you can't be making signings to spite Liverpool. Like, surely not. Meanwhile, letting Kovacic go is terrible business. They let him go for 25. Koulibaly, I don't think Koulibaly was a problem. Sure, the Saudi League came a knocking and he's 32, but I don't think Koulibaly was an issue. Pulisic gone to Milan for next to nothing. Mendy went to the Saudi League as well. They let Kepa go to Real on loan. I just don't know, guys. Like, Kante's gone. I mean, they don't need Kante if they're going to bring in Caicedo, but Ziyech is gone. I just don't know. Like, this... They had so many players go out. And by the way, they let Kovacic go to City, theoretically a rival. Chelsea aren't going to challenge for the league this season. They let Mason Mount go to United, theoretically a rival, but Chelsea aren't going to challenge for the league this season. They let Kai Havertz go to Arsenal, theoretically a rival, but Chelsea aren't going to challenge for the title this season. So if you're buying players despite... Why just Liverpool? Like... Why would you not want to sell those players outside of the Premier League instead of improving the people who are going to be above you in the table by the end of the season? I don't know. Pulisic is inexplicable to me. Kovacic is inexplicable to me. Some of the signings they made are like inexplicable to me. I don't know. I don't know who's doing this. I thought Poch would have had like a fucking really good sense of what Chelsea needed. I don't know. Is it harsh to give this a C-? They're good individual players. They're just not what Chelsea needs. Yeah, fuck it. C-, dude. Crystal Palace. Did they even make a signing? Franca. They signed the young midfielder Franca from Flamengo. Whatever. Whatever, punk. I don't know, like, they got him for like 15 mil or something, so, okay, cool. Palace just didn't really sign anyone. They lost, Butland went to Rangers, whatever. Zaha went to Galatasaray, whatever. I don't even know. They didn't even have a transfer window, Palace, really. I'm just going to give that a D. Oh, yeah, Lerma. My bad. Yeah, they got him on a free, but that was from Bournemouth. I don't know how good that's going to be. So, it's a D still. There's nothing to talk about. Everton. Oh, my sweet, sweet Dyche. Oh, Dyche. What have they done to my mans? Here's how you knew Everton was having a fucking nightmare in the transfer window. Because the first signing of the transfer window was a 38-year-old Ashley Young from Villa. It's just vomit chunder everywhere. How that is going to help them, Like, listen, by the way, Ashley Young's transition into being a left back from being a left winger and the longevity of his career has absolutely surprised me. Since returning to Villa, he was actually legit. You know, I'm just saying that. But Everton have got problems that Ashley Young doesn't solve. So, pre-transfer for Ashley Young, and I was like, oh, God, they're really fucked, aren't they? Then, the big signing. The big signing is Chamiti. He's like 19 from Portugal. He's like a striker, but he can play like... He's like, well, yeah, just a forward, really. They signed him for like 10 mil. That's their big signing. So a Portuguese under 21. And even Dice said when he signed him, yeah, he's a good young player. And he's got lots of talent. And we're going to be using him wisely in the league. So what that means is, if you don't speak manager, that means like he's not even going to start. Like, you know. So if you've only got 10 mil to spend and you're spending it on that, it's like, you're Everton. You ain't got the luxury of developing talent. You're in the fucking doldrums again, mate. Now, there's one bright spark that stops them getting an F. And that is Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison from Leeds needs to go straight into this Everton team. Because, again, Harrison wasn't the reason, that Leeds got relegated. You can't legislate for fucking Patrick Vietnam for just having a lot, death stare on his face because he can't score goals anymore. And all the other problems they had. But Jack Harrison was good, I thought, for Leeds. And as a midfielder, he does a lot. He's like a wing. He plays wide, but he tackles. He's not afraid to come in midfield, win the ball. I'm all right with that. I think that's a solid signing for Everton. It's only a loan though, because they're fucked. Then you look at the people they let go. They haven't got any good players to let go. But I'm just gonna say this: you gotta keep Connor Cody, and they didn't. I couldn't believe it. He's gone to fucking Leicester, for fuck's sake. You've got to keep Connor Cody. Like, what? It's mad that Connor Cody's in the Championship. It's mad that Wolves don't think he can play in the team. It's so bonkers to me that they had to keep him. They didn't. Andros Townsend's on a free. That's fine, I guess. He is old now. They sold, it isn't him, you won't remember. Remember Moise Kean? The massive signing from Juventus? I think they managed to sell him back to Juventus. So, fine. They got some money for that, which they then didn't spend because they're trying to dig themselves out of the FFP hole they put themselves in. So, I don't know. I think this is disaster. Dele Alli's come back. I just want Dele Alli to succeed after that interview. It sounds like his life's been horrible and he got addicted to drinking and pills and he's only 27. And I remember Dele Alli when he broke into Tottenham, he was so exciting. But, dude, if you're relying on fucking recovering addict Dele Alli, Chamiti, and fucking Calvert-Lewin to dig you out. Everton is so fucked. Like, I want to go back to my prediction video now and put them in, relegated. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. I'm giving them an E. I'm giving them an E for Jack Harrison. Fulham. Yeah. Calvin Bassey is good from Ajax. Another one of the Ajax defenders. Obviously went with Jurrien Timber. The Ajax system just produces fucking incredible talent, as you know, and Calvin Bassey's definitely one of them. No jokes about Calvin Bussey, please. Let's all be grown-ups. He's a good signing for Fulham and will be transformative for them, even though I don't think they're going to do too well this season. They also did sign Traore. Is there now, Adama Traore, which, I don't understand his career. But the problem they've got is this Mitrovic thing. They're saying it's a done deal. Mitrovic is going to join Al Hilal. Has it been confirmed? If it's confirmed, they had to replace him. They have to replace him. They can replace Mitrovic, but they need to do it for their season to be meaningful. So it's really, like, you've lost your club legend striker who pissed on the floor on the way out. Your best signing's a centre-back. You don't have a player like Mitrovic. Not been great. Gonna say D. I think it's a D, unfortunately. So, sorry. Now, here's one people will care about. We get to Liverpool. Liverpool. It started out so good. They got Szoboszlai from Hungary, right? Everyone was like, oh my God, another RB Leipzig player. But actually, I think Szoboszlai was the dude who got the goal, right? Against England when Hungary beat them 1-0. I think that's right, isn't it? He's a fucking good player, guys. And he's a midfielder. Like, Klopp knows. You go, okay, he'll play, good, wicked, super happy. Good signing. You go, okay. Then you go, wow, they've just signed McAllister from Brighton. Centre mid. Now, he's had a fucking nightmare. He's in my fantasy fucking team, so of course, you're going to do me like that again, aren't you, Cosmos? You're going to do me again, Cthulhu, you fucking cunt. Right? But Alex McAllister, bullshit red card. Do I get my points back when the red card's rescinded? Of course they fuck. Of course I don't. Fuck your fantasy points, say the FA. I'm sick of these refs. Right? But McAllister's going to be an amazing player for fucking Liverpool. I really at Brighton. He was fucking so good. Brighton selling him for as little as what they did is kind of fucking kind of took me by surprise. But after the World Cup and everything, I think there was no chance of McAllister staying at Brighton, and they got good money for him. Not as much as they should have had. Is what it is. But then, okay, you're Liverpool. We need a defensive midfielder. Now, when I was at the 15-16 bar in Vienna talking to Owen, the barman there, who's a Liverpool fan, an Irish Liverpool fan, what had happened was Caicedo had followed Chelsea on Instagram, and everyone was going, well, Caicedo's going to Chelsea. And then suddenly, all the reporting was Caicedo's actually going to Liverpool. Liverpool have made him an offer he can't refuse. He's going to go there. And we're like, all right, okay, great job. The director of football at Liverpool's come through. Then, just all of a sudden, it's 100% Chelsea now. And I was talking to Owen and going, no, look, as of, I got my phone out, said, as of fucking now, he's coming to see you boys. And he was like, that'd be fucking great if he comes. Exactly what we fucking need. The right fucking tonic he was. So, okay, sound. And we all had a beer. We all thought he was going to sign. Then he went to Chelsea. Then they go, okay, we're going to get Lavia. Right? Not a problem. Stop calling him Lavia. Again, be grown up. Right? Going to get Lavia. Not a problem. 19, defensive midfielder, great prospect. Tailor-made for Liverpool's needs. So you come in, you're talking like 55, 56, 58, whatever the fuck it was in the end. Surely Liverpool are going to get him. Chelsea get him too. They don't even need him. He probably won't even play much. Mental. They have to make that deal happen. So then you're like, okay, well, right, you've fucked up plan A. You've fucked up plan B. What's plan C, Liverpool? What's your plan C today, dickhead? Well, turns out, Wataru Endo from Stuttgart. Now, I'm conflicted about this. Because first of all, I know Endo's a good player. And second of all, I know he's a valuable player for Stuttgart. And Japan. And he's called Endo. So, loads of reasons to love him. Right out the gate. But he's 30 years old, playing in not one of the big teams in the Farmers League Bundesliga. You've paid 15 mil or whatever for him. And you're like, Liverpool, this looks really bad. Now, he played well the other day. You got to hand it to him. And he'll probably do better than some of these other big signings. But that's disappointing for Liverpool. That's, disappointing. You got to say it. Henderson gone. Good fucking riddance. He's gone to Saudi. Fabinho gone. Not good riddance. Club legend. 29. Could have stayed, but whatever. Milner gone. Firmino gone. Another legend. Out the door. They let Keita go to Werder Bremen. That just never worked, did it? They had a big clean out. So, I'ma just say C. I'ma give this a C. Because Szoboszlai and McAllister are great. Endo is going to be a good signing, but theoretically, as it stands, it's not. They probably needed one other signing to really boss this. But they did keep Alisson, who was linked with leaving. So there is that. So C. Oh, and they've loaned out Carvalho this season as well, which is okay. Anyway, whatever. Luton. Luton signed players. Their like top signing was like, I don't know, 4 mil, Ryan Giles from Wolves. So whatever. I mean, it's Luton. Who cares? I'm sorry, Luton fans. There's no Luton fans. I've been out. Like, I know you were all loving it when Nathan Jones, the narco man, was your fucking manager. Oh yeah, Ross Barkley. My bad. Free transfer, Ross Barkley. Man, what a waste of talent. What a sad, sad story Ross Barkley is. Who's a bigger waste of talent, do you reckon? Ross Barkley or Ravel Morrison? That's one for the ages, that discussion, in my opinion. Both of them could have been fucking Gascoigne, too. You know what I mean? Crazy. Already, people are like, yeah, Morrison, pursue it. It's Ravel, easy. It's definitely Ross. Mate, if Ross Barkley has single-digit IQ, I don't know what fucking Ravel's is. But Ravel got failed by Sam Allardyce, you know, so you get Allardyce in your life, bad things happen. Anyway, the Ross Barkley transfer's hilarious. They can have a D for that alone, but it's Luton. Who cares? City, you got to hand it to them. They didn't need to make a lot of signings. But here's what they did. You know, Mahrez goes out, another Saudi traveller. Gundogan, Barca, gone. Mendy, you know, just go away. It's not really spectacular, but Gvardiol is huge. Like I say, he's the next company. Kovacic, what a fucking piece of business to bring him in. And, oh yeah, and what's going on with Cancelo? Did they get rid of Cancelo yet? I want to say Cancelo should have gone, right? He was just a disruptive cunt. So he's still there, is he? Okay, well, he'll be gone soon. Surely he won't survive this transfer window. Sure, yeah, he's off to fucking scummy Barcelona, so. I know, B for City. Like, it's aight. They made some good signings. They already had, like, the best squad in the league. Is what it is. Manchester United. Oh, this is when it gets controversial, doesn't it? Right, here's their signings, like the big ones. They brought in Højlund from Atalanta. They brought in Mason Mount from Chelsea. None of these players were cheap. After saying they didn't want to spend a lot of money on a goalkeeper, they went out and splurged, what was it, like 45 or something for Onana? Might have been a bit higher. Onana is brilliant. And obviously, Ten Hag worked with him at Ajax, if memory serves me correctly. They know each other. So I am happy with that. You know, even if it is 50 mil or whatever it was. See, I haven't got the numbers in front of me. I just wrote down the big signings. So I'm sort of doing a lot of this off memory. So if the numbers are slightly inaccurate, whatever. Onana is great. Like, he is an S-tier signing for what they need. Højlund, injured, 20. A lot of hopes to pin on a youngster. He's a 1-in-3 striker, but he's a great 10 and creates like space. And I think he's going to get better and better. And I think it's an exciting signing. A tier for me. Mount, mad question marks about it, because I just don't think he was the type of midfielder they needed. I think they were thinking about it like, you know, Fernandes, you know, in the 3. You have a Fernandes, a Casemiro, and then you want somebody like, you know, Mount to balance it all out. But nah, he ain't it for me. I always thought he was overrated. A lot of Chelsea fans were happy to see him go. I think that's quite indicative of what a player contributes when, like, big clubs lose, like, an England international and someone who's been at the club for a while, and they're like, yeah, it is what it is. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So I potentially have to say, you combine that. They sold Elanga, fine. He wasn't good enough. It's good he's gone. They sold Fred. He wasn't good enough, and he's tiny, and he dates that giant woman from that Resident Evil game. Fair enough. Who knows what's going on there? Nothing to do with it, but he's gone now, so it's okay. They let De Gea go on a free. Phil Jones has finally gone. Pour one out. I never thought I'd see the day. I thought Phil Jones was just going to die in a fucking United jersey. So mental. No, I don't even think he's retired. Did Phil Jones announce his retirement? I think Phil Jones is like Mumra. I think he's the ever living. He can't play. His body's shot, but he'll get a team. No, he's just left. He made a statement. Here it is. He's made 13 appearances in 4 seasons. Phil Jones issues emotional statement after confirming that he's leaving United. It's been difficult the last couple of years. Try the last fucking 8 years, mate. There's no denying that. There's no hiding away from that. My family have been absolutely instrumental in keeping me on the straight and narrow and keeping me focused to try and get fit and try to play more. I've missed playing football. I missed it. You grow up playing football and all you want to do is play football. It's all I've known from such a young age, is to do what you love doing for a living. I've been fortunate enough to do that, albeit not as much as I would have liked. My time at United has been nothing short of incredible. When I decided to leave Blackburn, I was desperate to show everyone what I could do at the highest level. I had a hunger inside me. I was desperate to continue that at a club that could challenge it for everything. I had offers from a few places, but I was waiting and waiting for the call from United. One day on holiday, the phone rang, and it was Sir Alex. I left my holiday that day. I couldn't wait to meet him. I couldn't wait to sign, and most of all, I couldn't wait to get started. There was only one club where I wanted to continue my journey in the game. To wear this shirt even once, to wear this badge and represent everyone associated with it has been an honour. I wish I could have played more. I wish I could have given more to the many squads I played amongst. I will say from the bottom of my heart, I did everything I could. I did everything the medical team asked of me. You know what? I like Phil Jones. Like, he's a crock. Let me just, this is controversial and nothing to do with rating everyone's business, but I'm going to give you a mega horrible take that will piss everyone off. He's done it again. Maybe I'll retweet it as well. Get some money for it. I got my first paycheck from X, as it's now called, $33. Pissing you all off was worth $33. And I'm going to piss you off to the tune of 50 next month and 60 the month after that. You'll all see. I'm going to become mega annoying. I'm going to become like an Ian Miles Chong of esports. Right, that's not true. I'm not going to do that. That would be awful. But here's the horrible take, right? Phil Jones is a player that is legitimately injured and has legitimately had injury problems and has legitimately poured all of his energy into trying to get back, and he means what he says. And I do genuinely fuck with that statement where he was like, look, like, even wearing this shirt once meant the world to me. I think he loved United, and I think he would have done anything to play more and everything else. Now, this is where it starts to get horrible. There are a number of players where I just think you're bums. I think they're not injured, they're bums. I think they don't realise you can't be 100% all the time, and they don't want it enough. They don't want it enough. They are just, oh, my hamstring's a bit tight. Like, I think about end stage Michael Owen at Newcastle. Oh, I've ran a bit. Oh. And everyone's going, you know, they brought him through Liverpool way too soon, and they misused him, and now he's got long-term injury. Fuck off. He was out there picking a horse. I remember, by the way, when he left Newcastle, he distributed a document, right, to where we were like looking to sell him. And he distributed a document, and somebody leaked it online. And the document was like, Michael Owen, entrepreneur, family man, horse expert. And I was like, any of this, like, can he play 20 games a fucking season and score some goals? No, he can't. Fuck off then. Who's signing him? Like, fuck that. Good to see you, Admiral Akbar. It is indeed a trap. What has happened in the chat? Right, whatever. You can put that in, Griff. Do it. It's a trap. Gotta love the Calamarians or whatever they're called. Anyway, I just got the sense Owen couldn't be arsed at the end. I just got the sense that Owen couldn't be arsed at the end, right? And I'm going to say this. I look at Calvert-Lewin, Everton. I think about Woodgate. These were players who, like, they were getting the bag. They didn't really care about playing football. And every time, I got my knee, my legs, And he's gone off again, injured again, this Calvert-Lewin. He's a bum. They're just bums. People like Phil Jones, he's not a bum. His body's fucked for some reason. He was like a high-powered mutant as a kid, and his body's fucked now. It happens sometimes, like to tragic extents. Like, you think about Lomu. It's got to be linked that Lomu was like some physical phenom specimen who could do impossible things, and then tragically his kidneys give up on him, and he dies tragically young for such an incredible athlete. You know, sometimes that happens. Your body is so fucking insane. You know, like all them giant dudes, like, when they go out and it's like, world's tallest man, he's like 50 foot tall or whatever, and then it's like, he's dead by 40. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not a scientist. I don't even know why I'm relating this. I just want to slag off Calvert-Lewin. That's the whole thing. That's the game I'm up to. I'm just saying, give me a Phil Jones over a Calvert-Lewin any day. That's what I'm saying. Ledley King, exactly. Ledley King, thank you, chat. Ledley King, no cartilage in his knees. And he still played. He played like 4 seasons with no knees. No knees! For fuck's sake. No knees. Do you know what I mean? And he was an England international and a Tottenham legend. Lewin, I've pulled something, I think. Right, off you come then. We better get it. We'll put Mopay on it. It'll all be all right. Oh, and then as soon as he gets down that tunnel, he's on the phone going, I want to do another fashion shoot or whatever. Like, fuck that. He's everything that's wrong with a modern footballer. Like, what happened to blood, sweat, and tears? What happened to putting your body on the line? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Anyway, sad about Phil Jones. Nothing to do with any of it. Sad about Phil Jones is what I'm saying. What do you mean, red eye? My red eye voice is, well, when you bloody say about that one, then, Rich, I'm just going to sing a song. That's red eye. And then Sean Dyche is, no, we're deep, and Sean Dyche is like this. You can't tell the difference, guys. I'm not like I've only got one voice. I'm better than that. Anyway, the business for United. Oh, God. It's so hard to judge this accurately. Anana's really good. Hoyland's gonna be... It's a C. All right, fine. It's a C. I'm definitely giving it a C because I want to include Anthony as well. And I'm out on Anthony. Anthony gets an Overwatch fart. 95 mil. Fuck that guy. Not this transfer window, but whatever. So, C. Newcastle United. Saudi-owned. So we all know they're the best. A club I can no longer in good conscience support. Although me and Carv will be there. We'll be out on the road with the rest of the horse punchers. Probably going to go to a European game and have a meet up with Carv this season is the plan. Since he's been a long-term member. He's a mod now. He's great at what he does. He's been running the fantasy football for us. So want to go out and take him out to a football game and have a few beers, and then I have to support Gateshead or Blythe Spartans or something. But anyway, let's just pretend for now. Let's pretend Newcastle are a normal club and not Saudi-owned. And let's talk about the transfer business. Sandro Tonali was like 55 mil, I think, about that. Great bit of business. I mean, he's already proven it, showed it on his debut. What a sick fucking legend. Like, he's going to be great for the club. He's only 23. He's already, like, he's Gattuso with skills. Like, I can think of no other way to describe him. Like, imagine if Gattuso didn't just kick everybody and just wasn't like Gattuso, like 100 for commitment, 100 for violence, 100 for anger, but like passing, not that good. Like, so Tonali at 23 is god tier. Harvey Barnes, as I said, I was really underwhelmed. Oh yeah, and that was hilarious. Sorry, chat. Like, nothing to do with anything. But man, the feel good vibes are back at Newcastle again. Now that Mike Ashley's gone and someone more evil than Mike Ashley runs the club. Good vibes. It's like, oh yeah, Skeletor has sold Newcastle United. Oh, who to? Emperor Palpatine. All right, sound, yeah, wicked. Anyway, whatever the fuck. They told Tonali, we're going to go to a big restaurant. Make sure you book a table and we'll all meet you there, like on your debut. And he, so you get to know the area and you get to know the club. And they made him book a table at Wetherspoons. And there was a picture online where it had, like, they'd put a reservation thing, like the little triangle of paper, and it said, like, Sandro Tonali on there, reserved for Sandro Tonali. And he turned up to a fucking Wetherspoons thinking it was going to be, like, all nicely dressed, thinking it was going to be, like, a high-class restaurant because he got fucking bantered by the Newcastle squad. So, imagine he's there, like, I'm here with my party. They sit down, right? Would Sir like to order? Would you like the all-day English breakfast and a pint for £5? Or, So that was fucking hilarious. And, yeah, I mean, like, there's, like, feel-good vibes back in Newcastle now. So, Tino Livramento, we got from Southampton. All of the good players at Southampton have gone now. Like seriously. They've been strip-mined. You won't see Southampton in the Prem again for a while. I don't think that's my read. But I've said that about other clubs in the past and been proven wrong, but hard to believe Southampton are going to get back. But you see, a lot of people don't understand. Like, Livramento's not going to start. He's eventually going to be the long-term right-back replacement. That's the theory, because Trippier he's one of the best right-backs, if not the best right-back in England. Well, rather, the best English right-back. But Champions League coming back, it's going to be a nightmare travelling midweek for a squad as thin as ours. And so Livramento's going to play, Tino's going to get games, same with Harvey Barnes. And on top of that, we sold Maximan. I can live with it. We managed to get money for Chris Wood. I don't even know how the fuck you do that. So, listen, it wasn't great. We also, as well, we loaned out the young guy, Kuol, and I was hoping he might see little flashes of him this season, but he still needs to ripen a bit. So that's fine. It's just B business. It's good signings. There's nothing bad in there, nothing dodgy in there, not actually super exciting. I don't even think I've given out an A yet. I'm going to have to give someone an A out of nowhere. But anyway, that's it for Newcastle. It's a B. I mean, they're great signings. I mean, B+. There you go, B+. Bias. The B is for bias. Right, Nottingham Forest. What even is this? What's happened? What happened? Nottingham Forest keep signing millions of players all the time. And they've added to their already bulging squad of nightmares. They added Chris Wood. He's on a permo. Chris Wood's gone on a permo now. Chris Wood he's dog shit. He's a donkey. He's one of the worst things I've ever seen. He's the worst thing to happen to football. So anyone paying money for him, you're already starting at a C, and it can only go down. Matt Turner's a good signing. He's 29. Arsenal understudy. Very, very good. Played their cup games for them. I think Matt Turner they needed, some goalkeeping depth, in the Forest squad. So fair enough. And Alanga's their big marquee signing, I guess. He didn't impress me much at United, but I suppose Forest and United, it's a different world. In terms of sales, nothing. They didn't really lose anything major. So it's just they signed 3 players of not great quality. C-, maybe D. On the fence about that one. I guess I just don't know enough about Forest, really. So, is what it is. Sheffield United. They signed that Hamer from Coventry. He looked all right, but again, it's lower divisions. They signed an Arsenal reserves centre-back called Austin Trusty. Great name to have if you're a defender. And they sold Ndeye. How do you say it? Ndeye? They sold him to Marseille, and he was actually a really good player for them. So I don't know. I think he might be missed, but he's gone, which is, I don't know. I guess they needed money. But he's like a 10. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's Njai. Right, my bad. There you go. I'm an uncultured pig. So yeah, C. Just a C for Sheffield United. Spurs. Lads, it's Tottenham. Right. This is super tough. Because remember, I'm counting your outgoings as well as your incomings. And so Tottenham, Maddison, for the price they got for him, when you look at some of the overinflated money for midfielders, Maddison was a bargain, 40 mil or whatever the fuck. That's crazy money. I really thought he was going to come to Newcastle. I wanted him to come to Newcastle. He was fantastic against United. I mean, he looked so good. And listen, I know I said a lot last season. I have a real bugbear and I get pissed off about players that are in teams that go down. And, I thought there were a number of games where Maddison, he didn't go missing, but he didn't really seem to fancy it. On his arse a lot, whinging. And, they walk away and go, sorry, Leicester, I tried. And I hate that shit. But that's like an S-tier signing. He's just like an S-tier signing. Van de Ven, I talked about him in a Prem review. I think they paid a lot of money for this 22-year-old from Wolfsburg. He doesn't get Prem defending yet. This Van de Ven looked really fucking flaky, and I didn't think he was going to start. So he's got to learn quick. He's got the pace. He can get himself out of trouble with pace, and he's a big lad. But his positioning and the way he stands in a line and the way he marks and how far apart, he gives way too much separation up. He hasn't looked great, but it's going to be a learning curve, is what it is. They got Kulishevsky on a permo. You know how I feel about him. Porro was the other right back. I mean, he's rebuilding it. The goalkeeper they got from Empoli, Vicario, he looked mega against United. Unconventional. Loads of saves he didn't need to make. Loads of needlessly acrobatic stuff. And then obviously Vélez is the 19-year-old Argentinian from Rosario, but this guy has already been capped at like under 20 level. He was a standout player for Argentina in the South American Championships. I think he played 12 games and got like 4 goals or something like that. So he maybe even more. So he's a mustard, low-key. Let's sign a young South American and see if we can turn him into a Premier League footballer. So they're the ins, right? The outs. Harry Winks going to Leicester. I never got the fuss. Lucas Moura has gone on a free. I mean, yeah, he was never going to get in the team. Harry Kane is the big one. 100 mil. He's irreplaceable. And it's not Postecoglou's fault because they have let down the manager by not making a commitment one way or the other. Like, you have to either tank Harry Kane leaving on a free and hope he changes his mind because Postecoglou does so well and new style of football and, hey, you're in the Champions League. Come on, Harry. You know you want to. You know you want to beat Shearer's record, all of that stuff. Instead, they've let him go to the Bundesliga as close as they can at the start of the season. 100 mil now looks like it tastes like cold ash in the mouth. It doesn't do anything for Postecoglou. You're not going to have time to get a top signing. And now suddenly you've got Richarlison at number 9 with Son playing off him. And it's going to be awful, guys. So the business they did would have been good. It would have been B- for me. Kane going out and no replacement? Is that a D? Can it be a D? Can it be a C-? I think D's too harsh. I think C- for me. Like, the Vicario's good. Kulishevsky being locked up is good. Madison's good. I think C-. Oh, yeah, and Solomon coming in. C-. West Ham. Oh! Here's the other thing, actually. While we're talking about West Ham. We're not going to... This is just another Richard hates a certain player, so he's going to talk about him for a few minutes. Harry Maguire proved what a piece of shit he is. It's over now. He'll always be a piece of shit. Why will he always be a piece of shit? Because he could have gone to West Ham, but he would have had to take less salary, but he would have been playing in a system where Moyes doesn't play like Ten Hag. He uses anachronistic, old-school thinking about the game. So Harry Maguire wouldn't have had to do the things he has to do in Ten Hag. Hoofball would have been acceptable. He could have gone there, salvaged some self-respect, because he is a fucking joke of a player. But instead, he wants to keep getting that big bag on the bench, and he's going to hang around the fucking dressing room like a fucking stale fart at a festival, and Ten Hag needs to just get him out. Like, he's a fucking idiot. Harry Maguire is that dickhead who got arrested in Greece. He will always be that dickhead. The idea he's like an England captain and United captain, I don't even fucking know who made these errors of judgment. He is a clown. He is delusional. He's narcissistic, and he's proven he cares more about the bag and fucking, well, I'm still a United player, lol, than he does about actually going and getting a game, because he will never play for United again, except maybe in cup games or if they have an injury crisis. He is dog shit. He's an embarrassment. I saw Onana chew him up in a preseason friendly, and this is how you know Onana understands football, because he said to Harry Maguire, "You're shit." So, on the money. Anyway, the fact that West Ham are looking at Harry Maguire is crazy. I don't know how that happens. So, let's look at the business they did do. Alvarez coming in, made his debut today. Bought him from Ajax. Really good prospect. Looks great. They got him relatively cheap, in the 30s. Very good signing. Not even a Moyes sign. I doubt Moyes knows who Ajax are. So, very good signing. Ward-Prowse, very good signing. Ward-Prowse is going to be transformative. I think West Ham really struggled from attacking set pieces. I think in general, they didn't really have that kind of threat. And I also think he's just a good passer of the ball in general. It's not like all he can do is kick a static ball. That's very disrespectful to a player of Ward-Prowse's caliber. 2 assists against Chelsea. Going to be great. Just going to be a great signing for them, like a great signing. And again, 30 mil or 34 mil or whatever it was, like, it's fine. They lost Declan Rice. Yeah, you can't say no to that kind of money. Schumacher, I was wrong on that one. He's gone. He didn't stick around. They sold him to Atalanta. He's gone back to Italy. Vlasic has gone to Torino. Again, wasn't really making the grade. So, I got to say, I think, this is just, it's not spectacular. I would have liked to have seen him maybe get another striker, I want to say. I feel like just being a bit more reliable at sticking it in the net would have been great. But, it's a B. It's a B. Wolves put all of their stock into Cunha from Atletico Madrid. It's a hell of a signing. They bring in the young Traore from Metz as well. I think it's a gamble, but I like it. They've gone big. They spent money. He's a marquee signing, 24-year-old Brazilian. I just think when you're signing Brazilians to the Premier League, it's feast or famine. They're either in or they're out. And in a lot of the times they are out. So, I know he's been playing at Atletico, but it's just the dreary weather, the fucking misery of being in Wolverhampton. Like, you're always thinking in your back of the mind about I can just go home and live in a paradise, and I'm a millionaire and my money goes much further, or I can be in Wolverhampton. You've got to be raging like Danny G. I live in a shithole. So I don't know, but Cunha is in theory a good signing and a lot of money. So they lost Neves. That's diabolical. To let him go. I know you can't do anything with that, but the money from Neves goes to get Cunha. But Neves needed to happen. They lose Nathan Collins. They lose Connor Cody. They lost. Not that it matters. They lost Jimenez. They lost Adama Traore on a free. I think they had a nightmare. I think Wolves had a nightmare in the transfer season. I think they lost way more than they replaced. I think Gary O'Neill's going to have a real hard time this season. I've got them getting relegated. I'm going to give them an E. So there you go. No one gets an A. No one gets an F. Put in an Overwatch fart noise here then, just for fucking good measure, Chris. And that's that. That is the content you requested.